Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here with picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition, Thanksgiving edition. Hey, 3 games tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. It's Wednesday. We're recording this. Y'all know who's here with me. Moneyman Mitch and Big Al McMorty. Mitch, how you doing today, sir?
I'm hanging in there, man. It's ready for another NFL week. We got the Thanksgiving games. We got a Black Friday game for the first time, and then we have the regular Sunday card. So first full card in a while as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big Al McMorty, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. I apologize to all who are watching. I might have to duck out in a few minutes as the apple pies I'm baking are taking a little bit longer than anticipated. But other than that, I'm doing great.
Yeah, it happens. We know what day it is, man. The day before the feast. Everybody's scrambling today, so I'm pretty sure everybody will understand. What they will also understand is we trying to make some money, man. I think we've had some really great weeks here on this show. Somebody, at least one of us, every week, man, has been on pretty much a tear. So let's keep it rolling, fellas. I love this show. It's probably my favorite show we do because it's like 3 different formulas all coming together, just talking some. So without further ado, let's do what we do, man, and let's hop right into this week's NFL schedule. We start our day off on Thanksgiving Day. The Detroit Lions, man, they're up first, as they usually are. They're laying 9.5 on their divisional opponent this season. They got the Chicago Bears coming in. Mitch, you singing the theme song this week? Or are you laying it here with the Lions?
Yeah, the Bears did us right last week. We got in early. We got the right number. And Al, I was texting with him. He's like, I don't get lucky. And I said, well, I do. And, we did. So I'll go back to the well here with the Bears. And, the Lions generally on Thanksgiving, they get their ass kicked a lot. So we'll have to see if that happens. But if not, I think the Bears make it entertaining. I think actually, 2 of the 3 of these games are probably going to be entertaining games. The Bears have made games entertaining this season. They haven't really gotten blown out a bunch. So, we'll see how this one goes. But their games have been generally very, very close, and I think this one is as well.
Al?
Yeah, I'm going to join Mitch on the Bears for the second straight week. That was fun last week, and Mitch is right. I told him, I says, I never get lucky, and Mitch says, I do. So I just rode Mitch's luck to the gravy train there. That was
all the way to the 2-point conversion.
That was great. And then we win the coin toss in overtime. I mean, we needed a lot of luck to come to that spread. Yeah, I'm gonna fade Detroit. They've won 9 straight games, and NFL teams on 9-game or better win streaks have gone 65 and 89 ATS since 1980. I'm 9.5.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, sweet first game of the day because I'm joining you guys on the Chicago Bears. Am I proud of it? No. Do I like fading the Lions? No. Some people may say, because I think I faded them now 3 weeks in a row here on this show, but man, I think they're due. They're due. I usually don't say that word either, but I think they're due for a non-cover. The Bears, earlier this season, the reason I wanted to face Chicago a lot earlier in the season, I thought they were overrated, overvalued. Now I think they're properly rated. The Lions are head and shoulders a better football team in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was more competitive. Chicago kind of mucked it up and brung the Lions down to their level. Sometimes those games happen, and we're getting 9.5 right now currently. I want that many points in my back pocket with Bear down, Chicago Bears. The pride and joy of Illinois, Bear down, Chicago Bears. Shout out the Bears, man. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we're in my hometown, man. We're my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. We're laying 3.5 on the New York Football Giants. Al, did we finally get a win at home?
I'm just happy with the win on the road last week. That's good enough for me. That was a huge play to, over the Commanders. But off that win, I'm going to fade Dallas here. especially with the Giants coming off their debacle against Tampa Bay. And, the underdogs in the NFC East Division games, they've gone 104-75 ATS. They owned a losing record, which of course the Giants do, and their opponent was off a straight up an ATS win, which Dallas is. So I'm going to take the Giants plus a 3.5.
Y'all know where I'm at here in this one, man. I'm on my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. One thing I can always count on us to do is to beat the hell out the Giants. That's what we do, man. I don't remember a close game with the Giants in recent memory. Wasn't the one earlier this season close? The Giants did cover that one for like the first time in forever. But, man, the Giants, they have it down right. They're in full-blown tank mode. My Cowboys team should be in full-blown tank mode, but as we saw last week, they can't even do that right. So I think this is a game with how bad we've been at home. Dating back to last season in the playoffs, we've been blown out in every single game dating back to what the Packers did to us at home in the playoffs. So I think this is just a get-right spot. Thanksgiving for the Cowboys is a moment. It's a day. It's an occasion. I know our ATS record and, our straight-up record probably isn't all that great in recent memory for the Dallas on Thanksgiving, but I believe this is a spot. This is a situation. I'm going to lay it here with Dallas. We always beat up on the Giants. Ain't nothing changing. Mitch?
Yeah, even if the Cowboys would have lost last week, they still had some wood to chop if they want to get to that top spot in the NFL draft. I think drafting number one is a pipe dream at this point because you got the Jaguars. You'd have to lose to the Giants on Thanksgiving Day, on top of it. And then, the Raiders, they don't look like they're winning anytime soon either. So, those teams are all 2-9. And then you got a bunch of teams at 3-8 in there too. So, the Cowboys, as bad as they are, they're looking at 11th right now in the NFL draft. So not even in the lottery, right? If it was the NBA. But I think, in this game, I think the Cowboys are going to hurt the draft chances some more. I think they're going to drop back a little more in this one, as I think they beat the Giants up good. The pass rush for the Cowboys has historically been really good, and I think they come through in this game. The Giants just cannot protect the quarterback. He's just getting killed back there. It doesn't matter if it's Daniel Jones, it doesn't matter if DeVito, it doesn't matter who it is. We might see the third stringer in this one.
Wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. I think I saw reports that DeVito is banged up, so man, it don't matter if it was Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor, the ghost of Eli Manning. If Peyton Manning went in there, fading the New York Football Giants. Big Al had to step out like he said in the intro, but let's keep it rolling. Mitch, we head to Thursday Night Football. Thanksgiving night. We got the Packers, Lambeau Field, with the Miami Dolphins rolling in. It's your team. But I'm up first here in this one. I'm going to roll with the Pack, man. Go, Pack, go. Miami has played better. They're starting to look like the team who they were supposed to be. But in hindsight, I mean, they've beaten up on the Rams and the Patriots, two teams who will be picking in the lottery in this upcoming draft. So it doesn't really move the needle quite that much for me. This is a terrible spot for a Florida team. Hey, late November, outside, Lambeau Field. Looks like it's going to be cold, below freezing for the game. I'm on the Pack. Go, Pack, go. I think they beat up on the Miami Dolphins in this one. Mitch, how you feel?
I don't know, man. I think the Dolphins. I think they're in good shape for this one. And it's like this is a team that's been banged up all season. I think they have way more talent on the roster than the Packers do. Go around the horn. I mean, receivers, even quarterback, you name it. I think the Dolphins are the better team here. Of course, they both have bad coaches, so it's like that's kind of an equalizer in this one. I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one. Take a shot. The Dolphins 2 years ago, the Packers played at Miami on Christmas Day, and now the Dolphins play at Green Bay on Thanksgiving Day. And I think I like the Dolphins here. I just like the way they're playing, and I think they're the more talented team. And we saw them in a snowstorm also 2 years ago in the playoffs in Buffalo, and it was much colder than this. And it came down to a last-second field goal in a game that they led most of the way. they're going to be very much in this game. I'm going to take the Dolphins here plus the points.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll get Al's opinion when he gets back, but we'll keep it rolling. Till then, we head to Black Friday, Friday night, first one ever. We got the Chiefs playing 13 on the Raiders. How you feeling hearing this one?
I really hate the idea of a Black Friday NFL game. I just think this is bad. I think that it belongs to college football on Fridays, and taking that away from them. But this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's not even a night game. It's 3 o'clock Eastern time. So noon Pacific. The Chiefs 13-point favorites in this one. Mahomes talking about like how they haven't blown anybody out. That was his big talk after the Panthers game. And I think, there's part of the problem is they can't blow anyone out. And that's part of the problem that they're having. I'm going to take the Raiders plus the points.
I'm on the Chiefs in this one. Y'all know I've been a Chiefs lover here on this show all season, and I'm still going to be that. The Raiders, I like the coach. That's about it for this team that I like. This team is going to be picking near the top. Shedeur Sanders, you're probably a Las Vegas Raider. I think if there was a spot the Chiefs took somebody behind the woodshed, it would be this one here on Black Friday. So I'm going to lean towards Kansas City and lay the points here in this one. Al, while you were gone, you missed the Packers and the Dolphins and the Chiefs and the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm for the Thanksgiving night game. I'm going to take Green Bay, Miami off, of course. 3 straight wins. They've also covered in all 3 of them. Their last 2 games were at home, so now they have to travel on the road. I don't like the fact that Miami scored 34 points in each of those 2 home games that they're coming off of, and road teams have gone 51-78 ATS in the regular season, back-to-back home games where they won and scored more than 30 points in each of those. So I'm going to play against Miami. Green Bay is also really good as a home favorite of 13 or less points. As far as the Raiders-Chiefs game, I'm looking at the total here because the Raiders have played their last 4 games over the total, and teams off exactly 4 overs in division games. Then they've gone 134-71 under when the over/under line has been 36 or more points. And then also the Raiders historically have been an under team in their division road games. They're 69-41 under the total in those. So I'll take it under the 42.5.
Fair enough. Let's keep it rolling. We head to Sunday, where the Patriots are at home at the crib as dogs with the Indianapolis Colts rolling in. Colts laying 2.5 here in this one. Mitch, how you feeling here? Do you trust Indy on the road?
I don't trust either of these teams, to be honest with you. Those Colts, man, that Colts. They have just been absolutely dreadful. The decision-making here on the field by Richardson is just such a liability. And then it's Joe Flacco on the other side. Well, I kind of like what the Patriots are doing. I know it got ugly in Miami last week, but still, I think the Patriots, take that as a learning experience. I think the Patriots have a chance in this one. I'm going to take a rare shot here with the New England Patriots in this one.
Fair enough. Al, how you feeling?
I agree with Mitch. Also, one of the things I like to do late in the season is play on home dogs in certain situations, and they're really good when they're off back-to-back ATS losses. And this is something that applies in the last 5 weeks of an NFL season, which we're starting with this week. New England's also been really good off a loss if they weren't favored by 7 or more points in their game. Here, of course, they're an underdog, so I like the home underdog plus a 2.5.
I'm going to stick with that Colts and that coach. They're the better football team, and, they can get to 1 game below 500 after this. I like certain signs I see for the Patriots. Drake May, Josh Allen 2.0. There's some things there. But I think the Colts are just a better version of the Patriots right now currently. Anthony Richardson, he has his issues. We understand that. But I'm not going to be mad at them for losing 4 of their last 5 when you look at the competition. The teams that they lost to were just better than them. Houston, Minnesota, Buffalo, Detroit. Those are all teams that will be in the playoffs. New England, they're not. So if there was a bounce back spot, if there was a spot where the Colts were going to, they are the better team coming into a game. If they were to get somebody, I think this is the spot that kind of galvanized the troops. So I'm going to lean towards Indianapolis laying the points here in this one. Hopefully they can come in here and establish the run, and it'll be fine. We'll see. Let's keep it pushing. We had 2. Cincinnati, or the Bengals, 3-point home favorites over the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was kind of surprised when I saw this line. Al, how you feeling?
Well, I'm going to look at the over-under. I'm going to avoid the side. The over-under has been installed at 47 points because the Bengals, they just keep going over the total. They've gone over the total in 8 out of their last 10. And Cincinnati games are averaging 53.9 points per game this season. But Pittsburgh is one of the 4 teams in the NFL this season that are allowing less than 17 points per game. And only one of the Steelers' games heretofore has had an over-under line this high. That was against another team scoring a lot of points, the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens games were averaging 57.1 points per game, but we saw what happened in that game. Final score 18-16. The Steelers, you might come in, with a high-octane offense. You might come in with your games, scoring lots of points, but when you meet up with the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to, put a clamp on that. I like the under.
I hate catching falling knives, man. I do. But if there's one I'm catching, man, y'all know I'm catching it with Joe Shiesty and them Cincinnati Bengals, man. Back up against the wall. If there's somebody who I think could do it, could pull off the unthinkable, it's this team. And the books, I think, agree with me. It's 3-point favorites at home. Have the Steelers been the better team over the full course of the season? Yes. But I'm here to tell you, I think in a vacuum, if you hook me up to a lie detector test, I would still tell you right now today, I think the Bengals are still a better team. I would. I don't know. I'm still extremely high on this Bengals team. And division game, if there's a squad that they're built to beat, it's the Steelers. If there's a team that they're accustomed to knowing how to play, it's the Steelers. And at home, at the crib, back up against the wall, needing to get it done, I'm on Cincinnati. I'm hoping this line gets to 2.5 on Sunday. I don't really want to lay the full 3. I'd rather be under the field goal. But right now, currently, bounce back spot at home for the Bengals following back-to-back road L's coming off the bye. It's a really good spot situation for Cincinnati. I'll lay it. Mitch?
Steelers have won 3 of the last 4 against the Bengals, 2 of those as a dog outright. I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I just like the way they stop the run. The Bengals can't run the ball to begin with. You can't run the football. Winning games in December, very, very difficult. Got to run the football and play defense. This is the time of year, especially as the fantasy football season starts to wind down and the refs keep their flags in their pockets. That's the way that it generally works. I just think the Steelers are the better team this year. I think, getting T. Higgins back, we saw the difference that it makes for the Bengals. But, you have a bad kicker and, you have a team that can't run the football. I think that eventually they will be able to. I think that this Brown is good. Maybe it's the line. I don't know. But they're almost dead last in the NFL in running. So I'm going to take the Steelers.
Fair enough. Let's keep it rolling. We head to Atlanta. Falcons are home dogs. Surprised to see the dogs with them Chargers rolling in. Y'all know my Chargers hate, man, and that's the same story for me. I'm on Atlanta outright money line here in this one. I told you guys a couple weeks ago I thought the Chargers were about to lose 4 straight games. I'm an Evan McPherson mishap away from them being 0-2 in that span. It's okay. Because they're going to lose again this week. I'm on Atlanta at home at the crib, man. Bounce back spot at home for Atlanta as well. Following back-to-back road L's. They lost to a division opponent. And then it was a terrible spot for them out on the road. Dome team, AFC team. In Denver, terrible spot for the Falcons. Like, you just got another Falcons. They never going to be good in that spot. But coming back home, facing an overrated, overvalued Chargers team, I'm on Atlanta here. It has nothing to do with the East Coast team. It has the West Coast team on the East Coast. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that. I just think that this is a really good spot for Atlanta, coming off the bye, off back-to-back L's, against an overrated, overvalued Chargers team is how I see the game. So give me Falcons money line here in this one. Mitch?
Chargers for me. I don't see it. I just think that Chargers is going to run the ball right down their throats, and I just don't see what the Falcons are going to be able to do to stop it. I just think they're going to have their way against them, and the Falcons allowing 4.4 yards per carry against, 127 yards rushing against, 5.7 yards per play against. This is just the dream team here for Jim Harbaugh offense. The Chargers are dropped pass away from from being 2-0 during that span of where he picked him to be 4-0. So and then those were balls that he was open. It hit him in the hand. It wasn't like a prayer. It was like balls that an NFL receiver should catch. And I could see the Chargers winning pretty comfortably in this. In another boring one, Chick-fil-A is closed. Taking the Chargers.
Al?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to join you and take the home dog Falcons plus the 2. I certainly understand the reasons for taking the Chargers that Mitch, discussed. But for me, what sways me is more the magnitude of Atlanta's loss. The fact that they lost 38-6, and now they're a home dog. So when you get home underdogs off disgusting blowout losses, they do fairly well. Especially if it's a road loss off by 28 or more points. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Falcons plus the points. But I mean, the Chargers are the better team.
I don't know. Let's keep it rolling. We head to New York, where them Jets home dogs with the Seattle Seahawks rolling in. Mitch, you finally taking them Jets, or you still on the fade?
I'm fading the Jets all the way. Even Aaron Rodgers has already said he's not coming back. Gino's coming back to New York, where I got to tell you, the Seahawks just absolutely own the Jets. I mean, the Jets haven't beaten the Seahawks since before 2008. It's been that long, and I think it continues to go that long here. Might take them on the money line if I can get it cheap enough. Right now, it's about minus 130. So I don't have to worry about any funny business, anything like that. But yeah, the Jets are just terrible. I mean, they're just horrific. I mean, it's unwatchable crap. I'm going with the Seahawks, and that receiving core is just really, really stacked against the Jets defense. It's just basically pass interference all day long.
Fair enough. Al? Jets a couple times.
So
you on them again?
Well, let me illustrate how the odds makers have adjusted the numbers in the last couple weeks. The Jets were a 1.5-point road favorite at Arizona. And of course, they stunk up the joint, lose by 25. But that rating would suggest that the Jets, that the odds makers had the Jets, call it 3.5, 4 points better than Arizona. Then Arizona's a road favorite at Seattle by 1 point, which suggests that Arizona is call it 3.5 points better on a neutral field than Seattle. So, using those two, you would think that if the Jets were 3.5 better than Arizona, which was 3.5 better than Seattle, then that means 2-3 weeks ago, the Jets would have been power rated 7 points better than Seattle. And yet they're a home dog today. So the odds get adjusted. I'm just using that as an illustration, for those who think like, I can't take the Jets, they stink. Well, now they're getting 1.5 points as a home dog from the Seattle Seahawks, who were the home dog to the Arizona Cardinals. Anyway, I just
don't do it.
I'm going to take the Jets. You knew.
Oh,
God. I'll just throw out a team trend. I don't really give a shit about team trends, but I'll throw it out anyway. Jets are 18-0 ATS versus winning foes when priced from -1.5 to plus 11.5 points in the second of back-to-back home games if they were not off a Suets win. The Jets also do really well at home off home losses. I don't have the number off the top of my head. I think it's like 69-41 or something like that. I'm going to take the Jets plus 1.5 points.
Not this year.
No, this year they're covered the spread twice or something. They suck.
They're 1-8 in their last 10.
Yeah, well, even a blind squirrel can find an acorn every once in a while. So
that game, the one that they won was the Houston game, 21-13, the Thursday night game, where the Dogs
very fortunate
where the Dogs come out. Thursday night is the night where like the crap team beats the good team almost every single week. And we saw it last Thursday. We'll see it. Probably see it tomorrow when the Bears beat the Lions. But yeah. It's been the Jets have been favored so many times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They covered that Sunday night game as a road favorite at the Steelers.
They've been favored.
Oh no, they did. No, they did.
They did not. They got 37-15.
Yeah.
They've only not been favored twice in the last 10 games. One of them, they were only getting 1 point against the Buffalo Bills of all teams. And the other one, this is how ridiculous this is. The other one, so they were 1 point dogs against the Bills and 2.5 point dogs against Sam Darnold in his return against the Jets. And that game was in Minnesota.
Yeah, this one's easy for me, y'all. I'm fading the Jets. I don't care how the books look at this team and how they determine what this team is. I watch the Jets, and I can tell you they're ass. They're terrible. They're not a good football team. And the Seattle Seahawks, they played their better football this season on the road. So this is just a game. Just trust your eyes. Just trust what you've seen, not trying to be the smartest in the room. And I feel like that's what a lot of people try to bend on the Jets this season. They're a bad team. That's what they are. Just going to fade. Give me the Seahawks. Still battling in that tough division that anybody can come out and be the representative as the division leader. So it's going to be interesting how it plays out. But y'all know I'm fading the Jets. Let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we head to Jacksonville, where the Texans are 4-point road favorites. I'm up here. Small lean on the Texans. This is probably one of my least favorite games this week. I don't trust the Texans anymore. They're not a covering team. They're not a money-making team. It's just like they're not. Are they the better football team? Yes. Is there a path where they come in here and blow the doors off of Jacksonville, who might be one of the worst teams looking to draft number 1 overall? Yeah, I could possibly hear that narrative. But this is also a division game where Jacksonville loves playing Houston. So it wouldn't shock me if the Texans walked them off with a field goal and the Jags lost by 2. So, forced to pick the game, I would take the Jags. There we go. I don't know if I'm going to get there on Sunday. Forced to play it, I think. Mitch?
Jags for me. I just don't see it here with the Texans. Stroud is looking like the guy that I thought he was when they drafted him. He just stinks. And now he's making excuses for his interceptions, that it's part of the game and everything like that. And I do believe that interceptions are part of the game, but not the type of interceptions that he's throwing. That interception before the half last week was one of the worst interceptions of the entire season of any quarterback. And in the spot where they had come back and taken the lead by a point after playing hideous in the first half, to have a chance at worst to go in with a 1-point lead to the half. Instead, they go behind. Really, pretty much unforgivable. And it's like, I just really hate the Texans right now. And I'm going to go, and I hate Laramie Tunsil also. I hate him. penalty every single game. He's the most penalized player in the NFL this season. I'm taking the Jags, getting better than a field goal at home off a bye week all day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything. The only thing I wish I knew is if it was going to be Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence. Doesn't look like we're going to know until probably Sunday. Maybe we'll know before then. Yeah, off the bye week, I was looking at the press conferences that Peterson had, and it seems like the team's in a pretty good mental state right now. It seems like the bye week came at the perfect time, off that 52-6 loss to Detroit. So I think the bye is going to really benefit this team. I just really want Lawrence as the quarterback, that's all. But rested home underdogs with a losing record and off a straight-up and ATS loss. They've gone 14-2 ATS versus unrested division foes with a winning record. So it's a nice situation here for Jacksonville. I'll take the points.
Keep pushing. We had 2. Minnesota Vikings are laying 3.5 points on the Arizona Cardinals. Mitch, is it still Sam Darnold for Heisman?
Well, they got the New York Reject Quarterback Convention with Sam Darnold representing the Jets and Daniel Jones representing the Giants all on one sideline. And, I think it's just bad news here for the Vikings, who are more of a close game type team. The Vikings are more of a -2.5 type team than a -3.5 type team. I'm going to take the Cardinals plus the points. I think the Cardinals, didn't play their best game last week in Seattle. They know that. And Kyler Murray, I would say, the interception that he threw was equally as bad as Stroud's. It cost them the game. It was the game. You had a chance to go into halftime. At worst, you were very much in the game. Instead, now you're down 2 scores, and it was just a horrible, horrible decision. Both of them threw interceptions on what were deemed to be safe throws, right? Safe plays, just taking a little dunk pass, and both of them got picked off, and it ended up being points going the other way at a crucial point in the game right before the half, with the other team receiving the second half kickoff on top of it. I think the Cardinals bounce back from that. They're going to have some bumps in the road. I saw Harrison Jr. actually make some nice catches last week as well against Seattle, some acrobatic catches, but they're going to need him to do. He hasn't looked like anything near like he was built to be. He was built to be like this great, thing, but he's not. Maybe he's a later bloomer than, Julio Jones was or Jefferson on the Vikings and, Jamar Chase and these guys who came in their rookie season and just absolutely lit it up, because he has not done that. And maybe they need another receiver. Maybe they need help. Maybe I don't know what it is. But I still like the Cardinals here. But, I think Harrison needs to play a little better. It's not – this is the same thing that we see sometimes with guys who are freshmen in college who are supposed to come out of high school and be like these all-world players in college, and they struggle their first year. Some of them get better and they become that player. Other of them just fizzle out, and now they have the portal. They go somewhere else. And like Luther Burden, right? Luther Burden on Missouri. He came out of high school. He played, on Mizzou. He wasn't so great his freshman year. We saw flashes of it, but he was used to playing in a situation where he was the best player. And, he could basically run circles around everybody. Then he gets to college. He's playing in the SEC, and all of a sudden, it's really not the case. But as he's gone on, he's built up his, he worked hard. He knows his ability, and now he is, again, that player again. Right? And then when he gets to the NFL, he's going to have to do it again. But he knows he can do it, and he knows he is that guy. But Harrison seems to just not be committed to become that player just yet. And that's just me, what I'm thinking. Because when you look at Jefferson and the impact that he made, you look at Jamar Chase, you look at, when Julio Jones first came out, you look at some of these guys like that. Harrison was built to be like that, but we haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying it's done. I'm not calling him a bust. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying he needs to probably work a little harder than he's working.
How?
Yeah, I like Arizona as well. last week I thought was not the greatest situation for them because they were on the road off an upset win. Well, now they're off an upset loss. Um, the Vikings are 8-16 ATS versus foes off upset road losses. The Cardinals are 24-8 ATS, a single-digit road dog. So I'm going to take the 3.5 points.
Harrison has 36 catches at this point this season. Michael Wilson has 32 on the Cardinals. I mean, that's how insignificant he's been. Trey McBride, the tight end, has 61. James Conner, the running back, has 29, and Greg Dortch, the third wide receiver, has 23 catches. Harrison really isn't that far ahead of him, about one reception a game ahead of him. So, I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm not saying, I'm not, saying he can't be good. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying you draft a guy this high, he needs to be better than this. He needs to be better than this. That's, I understand he doesn't have a lot of help on the other side, but he needs to be better than this.
I'm on the Cardinals. I'm taking them straight up on the money line. They're going to go in here and beat Minnesota, right? Minnesota has now entered the realm of overrated, overvalued. They were a fun story. They're going to make the playoffs and probably get beat first game. Good defensive team, but I don't trust Daniel Jones nor Sam Darnold. And now you have them both on the sideline, man. That's a recipe for disaster. And this is not like a coaching staff that has been there, done that we trust, that they know what to do when the lights get bright. No, this is not that style coaching staff. This is a young coaching staff still trying to figure their things out as well. So, good story. Minnesota's been a good team, but I think the Cardinals are actually a terrible matchup for them. And just because the Cardinals lost last week to a divisional opponent on the road who had lost 4 straight home games, I'm not mad at them. Seattle needed that bounce-back game at home. The Vikings haven't been all that impressive to me, man. Let's just call a spade a spade. They're coming off of 3 straight games against 3 of the worst teams in the NFC. And weren't all that impressive in none of them, in my opinion. Barely scraped by the Jags. They beat Tennessee by 10, but it wasn't as pretty as you would have thought. And overtime last week with the Bears in a game they had no business being in overtime in. I think Minnesota, man, I think they've been living on the edge for quite some time. I think this week it's the wrong team to be living on the edge against, man. The wrong team. We've seen that time after time. So give me Arizona outright money line. Let's keep it pushing. We head to Washington, where the Commanders 5.5-point home favorites over the Tennessee Titans. Al? Okay.
Well, after getting the money last week with Tennessee, I don't want any part of them this week. I got my money. I'm done. Also road underdogs off upset road wins as an underdog of 8 or more points. They've gone 35-58 ATS. So I'll be happy to fade the Titans this week.
I'm with you. I'm on the Commanders. I'm fading the Titans. The Commanders off 3 straight L's. This is the bounce back spot at home at the crib. They lost to a better Pittsburgh team, and then they lost to 2 divisional opponents. Philly is the better team, and Dallas, we own the Redskins. This is the perfect bounce-back spot for them. Titans coming into this game off the win. This is the actual good team coming off 3 straight L's with the bad team coming off a win. This is probably the smash spot of the week. Commanders probably take these boys, which Dan Quinn and this style team seem like a team that run up the score on bad teams, given the opportunity. That's what
I'm going to change course altogether and take the Titans, man. I haven't taken them all year, but what I saw last week against the Texans, I think they can do a lot of those same things here against the Commanders, who looked very vulnerable last week against the Cowboys. I think Daniels is a good quarterback, and I think he has a chance to be a great one. But at the same time, he's not quite where everybody has him yet. He's not Tom Brady yet. And he's not Patrick Mahomes yet. And the comparisons to the guys are comparing to, he's not near any of those guys yet. And I'll tell you what, his cast of characters and his supporting cast. And if you're gonna kick the ball to Turpin on a kickoff, you know what? You don't know what the hell you're doing out there. I'm taking the other team, and I tell you what, we saw Will Levis make some really nice throws to his receivers, and his guys are starting to make plays. I'm going to take the Titans, and I'll tell you what, man. That they kick off to another guy like that ever again, that coach should be fired on the spot, man. I don't care how long he's been there, what his contract looks like. I mean, what are you doing? Nobody kicks off to like a guy like that anymore. You don't do that, you know? I mean, what are you doing, man? What, have you not seen this guy like do that every single time they give him a chance to do it?
In every single league? Like, come on, man.
It's ridiculous, man. It doesn't even make any sense at all. Like, on what planet, man, is that a good idea? Like, you know, where are you, what do you, I mean, do you not get the game film? Do you not get it? I mean, I don't know.
Shout out Lil Turk, man. Shout out Lil Turk. Let's keep it rolling. We head to Carolina, where the Panthers are 5.5-point home dogs with the Tampa Bay Bucks rolling in. This line's kind of been moving a little bit at the time of doing the show. It was 6, now I see 5.5. I'm up here. I'm on Tampa. They're the better football team. They're going to blow out the Panthers. The Panthers, they've been playing better. But I think we're just going to start entering that period of space where it's like bad teams are going to be bad and good teams are going to be good. And the Bucks, they're still right there on the bubble, man. They still got the whole world to play for, essentially. They're starting to get healthier again. You know, we saw Mike Evans back last week. And they just handled business. Took a bad Giants team behind the shed, and I think they do the same thing here to a bad Panthers team. Give me the Bucks. I'm gonna lay the points up. Mitch.
Yeah, when Mike Evans plays, the Bucks are just a better team, and I think that's really what it is. Baker is a better quarterback when Mike Evans plays. He admits it. He knows it. And I think the Bucks are the better team in this one. The Panthers played pretty well last week against the Chiefs and actually showed some guts, you know, scoring late in that game to, you know, show us another Patrick Mahomes, you know, same story, same thing we've seen a million times already, right? It's amazing that we just take it for granted that it's going to happen, you know, like if you give him that situation, it's basically like you already know what's going to happen. And it's like, we're not impressed by it anymore. As impressive as it is, you know, as amazing as it is that he does it, it's like we're not even impressed by it anymore because we just see it every single time. And, you know, I just think that, you know, I just think the Bucks are just a different type of team, and it's probably the wrong type of team that for the Panthers right now. The Bucks they're kind of a, you know, they're more of a get dirty type team. You know, they're not afraid to get dirty, muddy, and all that kind of stuff.
Fair enough. Al?
Yeah, I mean, I think any team that Carolina plays this week is going to be the wrong type of team. I just think it's a horrible situation for the Panthers. You take the defending Super Bowl champs to the wire. You're a huge underdog in the game, and you lose by a field goal. It's a letdown spot. So it's you know, no matter who Carolina would be playing this week, I'd be going against them. I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
Keep it rolling. We head to New Orleans, where the Saints are 2.5-point home dogs with the Los Angeles Rams rolling in. Mitch, two mediocre teams battling for mediocrity. What you like this?
Yeah, we got some really bad football going on in this one, but you know the Saints have gotten a little bit healthier recently. They are home in this one. The Rams have really looked to me super unimpressive. You know, losing to the Dolphins, squeaking by the Patriots, and then you know getting routed by the Eagles on in that game. I think Saquon Barkley, the only reason that he didn't rush for 500 or 600 yards was the end zone kept getting in the way. And you know, I think you know it was just one of those games. The Rams lost it. You know, they lost not just an average guy. They lost a guy you can't replace. Like sometimes you lose a guy and you hope, well, maybe I have two guys that, you know, between the two of them, we can make up the production of this one guy. But you can't replace an Aaron Donald because there's nothing there to replace him. He's a once-in-a-generation type player, and it's like, you know, maybe a Vince Wilfork, maybe a Cortez Kennedy, maybe, you know, one of these guys comes around, a Chris Jones, right, for the Chiefs. Maybe one of these guys. I mean, it's like, good luck, man. It's like landing a guy like that is just, I mean, so all the injuries to Nakua and all those things. But do you think Saquon Barkley does that to them if Aaron Donald is in the middle of that defensive line? I seriously doubt it, man. He makes guys like that take up 2-3 blockers make everybody better. And yeah, I'm gonna go with the Saints in this one at home. Home dog again. Boy, a lot of home dogs this week.
Al?
I'm going to go the other way. For me, it's really looking at the schedule. It's New Orleans' third straight home game. They won their first two at home, but when you get a team playing their third straight home game off back-to-back home wins, they don't do very well. They've done 53 and 82 ATS. The Saints also a horrible 59 and 105 ATS at home versus foes off a loss. I'm going to lay the 3 with the Rams.
I'm with Al. I'm on the Rams in this one. They're the better team. The Saints, they are getting healthier. I do worry that they will be able to come in here and try to run the football the same way the Eagles did, but ultimately I think they won't be successful. No, they're coming off back-to-back wins, coming off a bye. Looks like a good spot for them at home, but I don't think so. I'm going to take the Rams. This is another game I'm not totally in love with. A game come Sunday, probably going to leave alone. But we talk about every game every week. I just think in a vacuum, they're the better football team. And if they played this game 9 out of 10 times, or like they played this game 10 times, the Rams would cover like 7 of 10. So give me the Rams. Let's keep it rolling. We head to Baltimore, where the Ravens are laying right now 3 points on the Philadelphia Eagles. Al, how you feeling?
I definitely like the Ravens. For me, it's more going against the hot Eagle team. They've won 7 in a row. Now they're a 3-point dog. And underdogs of 3 or more points that have won at least 5 or more games in a row, they've covered just 36.2%. And we've talked about it, Jay, last week. I think, when we talked about the Charger game. In fact, you got me to switch to Baltimore from the Chargers because of that stat. The Ravens are 86 and 49 ATS versus teams outside their division that have a winning record. So that applies here as well. So I'm going to take the Ravens minus the 3.
I'm on Baltimore, man. Short, sweet, simple. If they play a team in division, I'm fading them. If they play an NFC team, for sure, it's a premium. We're on them. And if they play anybody outside their division that is not really accustomed to playing them, we're on them as well. And that's pretty much all it boils down to. The Ravens, when they play these style teams, they dominate. I wish I had the number for Ravens ATS against just NFC opponents. It's something crazy. Lamar's record straight up against NFC opponents is something insane.
I can get that for you.
Yeah, it's just I have it just not on the top of my head. But, yeah, you could look it up and pull it up for us. I'm on Baltimore. I think they beat
23-3.
23-3. So dominant. I like the Eagles as of right now today. The Eagles are my favorite in the NFC. I think if the NFC Championship game was today, it would be Lions, Philly, and I would have Philly winning that game. I just think this is a bad matchup for them. I think this is the Eagles' last loss probably of the season. Just a bad spot for them. So I'm not hating on Philly. Not hating on them. I think they have a legitimate chance to go to the bowl this season. It hurts to say. But this week, I'm on Baltimore. They dominate. Mitch?
Yeah, the Eagles, they remind me of like Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, teams like that. Basically, they played absolutely nobody and run up, this huge record against, bad teams. And it's like they've played, a handful of reasonable teams this year, and they've struggled against them. So, this is who the Eagles have beat. The Rams, the Commanders, Cowboys, Jaguars, Bengals, without T. Higgins, the Giants, the Cleveland frickin' Browns, lost to the Bucs, beat the Saints, and lost to the Falcons at home. I mean, that's not good. But, look at the other side, and the Ravens are the same thing. And this just shows you how many bad teams there are in the NFL this year. I mean, and why the Chargers are a legitimate playoff team. You
Oh,
know, at least the Ravens beat
no.
the Ravens beat the Bills. You know, and they lost to the Steelers though. They beat the Bills, and the second best win is the Chargers.
Your Chargers got the weakest schedule too.
Well, everybody does. Look at this
No, you're
schedule for
right.
the Ravens. The last 10:
Right.
Chargers, Steelers, Bengals, Broncos, Browns, Bucks, Commanders, Bengals again, Buffalo, and Dallas.
Yeah. Fair.
You know, you go back for a little. You can go back a little further, but it's all going to be the same story. Taking the Ravens anyway. I just think it just seems to be the right spot, but probably not one I'm rushing to the window on. I think the line is probably right, which is like the worst. I don't know why this isn't the night game, the Sunday night game. I have no idea, but it isn't. Right? So it's too good for Sunday night. It's too good.
Al?
Which game?
Baltimore, Philly.
I already talked about.
Oh yeah, you went first. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Speaking of Sunday night, let's talk about it, Mitch. We got the Bills laying 7 on the 49ers. You're up first here in this one. You laying this huge number with Buffalo? I was seeing some reports that this could be a snowstorm game. Sunday Night Football.
It doesn't even matter. I'm taking the Bills. I don't even care. I took the Niners last week against the Packers, and I was confident about it. And just one of those idiot picks that I make from time to time. But usually the more confident I get, like the Texans against the Titans or something, the only time where this year's been a little different because the Jets have been so bad, that they've kind of backed me up a lot. But, I'm not touching this team. I'm done with them. I hate their coach to begin with. I never liked their quarterback. I don't think that Allen is such a downgrade from Purdy. But these guys just stink, man. Even when he throws the ball to them, that game against the Packers was one of those like lousy Lambeau games, right? We know that, right? Where it was just any time the 49ers made a good defensive play, it was a penalty in the end zone, right? And the Packers had 2 pass interferences in the end zone where they got the ball on the 1 yard line and punched it in. You can't win, when they do that to you. Basically, the game was fixed. So hard to tell. But the Niners are just too banged up, and they don't have a good coach to begin with, so they're in trouble here in Buffalo. The Bills are a contender. If you beat the Chiefs, you sure as heck can beat the 49ers.
Al?
Yeah, I like the 7 points. The West Coast teams, they've done well in the Eastern Time Zone, 378 and 317 ATS, but the really good subset of that is when you get those West Coast teams off a point spread loss, then you zoom to 114 and 73 ATS when they're an underdog. So I'm going to take the 49ers plus 7.
I'm on the Niners.
What do you get? What's their record in snow? West Coast teams.
I don't keep that data.
Because this is a snowstorm brewing here for this.
Yeah, it's not going to make my card one way or the other, but on this show, I'm taking the 7 points.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. This is a game I'm not overly in love with. I'm not really rushing to bet banged up San Francisco, but if I were to play it, it would be the Niners. It just feels like the Bills now are a little overrated, a little overvalued. I know they're hot. They are playing well.
Jay hates the Bills.
I don't. They're a good team right now. They're the second
Josh
best.
Allen is. You always have Josh Allen rated like 26th in your quarterback.
But you give me some credit. Have you heard me? Have you heard me bash Josh Allen this season? I haven't.
Well, you did say that the Chiefs would beat them. You did say that.
I did.
No, but that's because he loves the Chiefs, not because he hates the Bills.
Correct. So in years past, I have been very critical of Buffalo. Very. But this season, they really haven't given me much to give them crap about. And I've been on them quite a few times this season. They are the better football team in this game. I just don't want to lay 7. I just think coming off the Chiefs win and the bye and the snowstorm, everybody going to love Buffalo this week. And I just want to go contrarian. Be on the other side getting 7 with a still really talented San Francisco team. So let's head to the last game of the week, Monday Night Football. Denver Broncos laying 5.5 points on the Cleveland Browns. Guess I'm up there. I'm gonna take the. I don't love this game. I would lean towards Cleveland. Hopefully they can find lightning in a bottle 2 weeks in a row. The Broncos are the better team. It's just I don't want to lay this many points with Denver. Denver's a much improved from last season. I like what I'm starting to see. I'm like Bo Nix has played really well this season. I was critical of him early this season. He's played well here recently. This just seems like a Broncos probably walk them off field goal style game. That's kind of how I feel here. So I'm going to lean towards the Browns plus the points. Jameis actually looked good, man. I like what I'm seeing from little Jameis, man. 30 for 30 Jameis, man. I'm rocking with the Browns again. Mitch?
Broncos for me in a very boring, crappy game. I'm not feeling it with the Browns. I know Nick Chubb finally looked good last week. You know, it was the first time he's really looked good, and he's a difference maker. You know, he really is. And Jerry Jeudy is actually coming on here for the Browns, but you're going to rely on Jerry Jeudy as a triumphant return to Denver, you know?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Give me Jerry Jeudy anytime touchdown.
Yeah. I'll take the Broncos to beat them up as a disappointment. I like the Broncos in this one. I don't love this game.
Fair. Yeah, I don't love it really that much either. Al, you love it?
Hate it. But we have to pick it. So I'm going to join you guys. I'm going to take the well, maybe I misheard what Mitch said, but I'm definitely going to take the Browns just because they're coming off the Thursday game. They get a little bit extra time to rest and prepare, and that's the edge I'll take in a game that I don't like.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, fellas, that concludes this week of NFL picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition, man. Hey, great week, man. We got everybody in action. Thanksgiving week, man. This was my favorite week of football usually most years. I love this week of football. Got the Black Friday game, so buckle up, man. Let's make some money this week. Mitch, any final words before we get out of here?
No, we're at that point of the season. We're going to see some separation here, but we're going to see some teams in the playoffs that probably, you wouldn't think would be in. And I think, we're starting to see some teams come on. We've seen this before. We've seen this a million times where teams get hot late. There's a few 5 and 6ers out there. The Dolphins, and the Bucks, and we see the Cardinals at 6 and 5. All three of those teams legitimately still have a shot to make the playoffs here. The teams they're chasing, the Texans, the Broncos, the Chargers, all vulnerable in those spots, for those wild card spots. I don't think the Dolphins can get to the lead in the East. The Bucks, well, who knows, but I don't know. I think that there's a lot of football left to be played, and we've seen this a million times where these teams, they just get hot over the last couple months, and then they ride it right into the playoffs. I've seen them ride it all the way to the Super Bowl many times.
Fair enough. Al, any final words before we get out of here?
Yeah, you had made a comment a little while ago about this is the time of year, something to the effect of where, like, the good teams become good or the bad teams become better, something to that effect. This is the time of year where, not now, but in about 2 weeks, where the odds makers are going to make you overpay to play on a good team and or against a bad team. So just be ready for that. Yes, the good teams will, some teams may be mailing it in and all that, but the odds makers are going to make you pay for those situations as well.
Yes, they are. And we're going to be here to help you find your way through it, man. Money making week. I almost said today's Wednesday, so money making Wednesday. We appreciate each and every one of y'all that continue to tune in and watch this video. Tomorrow on Thanksgiving, I'll probably have one play, but then, of course, y'all know I'll be loaded throughout the week and for the NFL action. Al, I'm pretty sure he will as well, and Mitch, he will. So scoop up our favorite plays, the plays we like the best, the plays we have the most money on over at Pick Dawgz Premium. See y'all next week, man. Picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition. We out of here. Peace.